Hello everyone, welcome to Nora's Vine. I'm Nora Vineyard and today is another day of experimenting in the kitchen. So I will be making today another recipe that I've never tried before, hadn't really heard of before, but we're going to try it and have some fun and we'll see how it turns out. Alright everyone, so as I mentioned in the start of this video, I'm going to be experimenting with a completely new dish and recipe today, something that I've never tried before and I'm just going to have fun with it again. I'm not feeling sick this time though, so I should be a little more onto things like an overflowing pan in a stove or whether or not to put salts or ingredients or seasonings into a dish. But yeah, so today's mystery dish, as it were, is Turkish delight. And as I think I've mentioned before, I'm currently in a production of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe with a community theater, and we are performing this upcoming week, and I've been doing a bunch of dress rehearsals, and I've been really busy. I'm on a hectic schedule, so I'm finding a little time today to get a video out, and I thought I'd start by having the dish of that story. If any of you are familiar with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, you know that the White Witch tempts Edmund to betray his siblings by offering him his favorite candy, which is Turkish delight. And I, before this play, hadn't really heard of it very much. I think I've heard of it, but I haven't tried it or looked into it. As far as I knew, Turkish delight was like a bit of honey in a slightly more non-sweet or old way. And it has nuts in it and stuff, but it's nothing like a bit of honey. So I looked it up recently, and I learned that it's kind of more like, I don't know if you've ever had them, but like applets and cotlets, which are a chewy candy that are dusted with like a confectioner sugar and made out of cornstarch. Turkish delight is also made out of cornstarch, but it's not specifically made out of apple juice or apricot juice. It's made out of rose or lemon or all kinds of different things. I don't have any rose water or syrups, so today I'm going to be trying a bunch of different things. I thought I might as well try ruby red grapefruit seltzer since that's the closest thing I have to anything rose. And then I had this tart cherry juice, which is like the perfect amount for making Turkish delight, so I just figured it was meant to be. And I have coconut water and coconut milks and things, because that was like the closest thing to everything they had on their ingredient list, and they also use coconut oil in the molds from the recipe I'm using, so I thought that might be fun to try. As for the cornstarch, since corn has a lot of lectins in it and is very carby and can hurt your gut, I thought I would just skip that altogether. Seems like a good thing to skip, and instead use tapioca flour, or also known as tapioca starch, as a base. And then everything else will be pretty much the same, except instead of regular corn, no, not corn, but not corn syrup, but sugar cane. I will be using allulose and monk fruit erythritol sweeteners to sweeten the candy. I have my silicone molds. As you can see, they've been used a little bit, so they're a little worn, but they're still workable. And then healthy, no artificial dyed food colorings so that we have those nice colors in the dish. And that will be all for today. I will show you all the ingredients and all of the tweaks I do in the upcoming video, and I hope you enjoy. So the recipe I'm going off of says to mix the ingredients of 1 cup of water, or sorry, 3/4 cup of water, 2 cups of sugar, and for this I'm using a mix of allulose and whole earth sweetener. Ooh, it's dusty. It has a nice smell though. And then 1/8 teaspoon of lemon juice, but since I really like lemon, I'm just gonna like do that, which is about 1/4 teaspoon actually. And that is that. So you can see that's all kind of mixed together in the bottom there. It's a very white mixture. It's just sugar, water, and lemon. Sounds like a lovely drink mixture, although I don't think anyone wants to drink that much sugar. And then we will bring that to a slight boil over low to medium heat. So I'm just going to put it in between. And that says to occasionally stir and get stuff off the sides with probably a silicone spatula. Just occasionally stir it. Alright, so next we are going to mix together our tapioca starch and water. And this is a 1/2 cup of water and then 5/8 cups of starch, whatever starch you decide to use. So I'm using tapioca, and 5/8 is equal to 1/2 cup and 2 tablespoons. So that's what I will be doing. I'm sorry, 1/2. Oh. Remember, you mix it in water before putting it into a hot mixture because you do not want it to clump and stick together, because that's not tasty. It doesn't work well. Alright, so we are now at 160 degrees. So they say to take your cornstarch mixture, or that we have tapioca starch, and take a little spoonful of your sugar water and put it into the cornstarch so it warms. It's warm. You'll mix that together, and then you'll pour slowly. You'll drizzle in your tapioca starch mixture. Keep saying cornstarch. We are using tapioca starch when we get the. So we have our tapioca starch mixture, and I'm just going to slowly drizzle it in. Ooh, that's a lot of heat. Well, it's not very slow, but I gotta get stirring that. And then stir that until it becomes thick and syrupy. And it says just keep it on the same heat. Oh yeah, that worked real fast. You guys can see we already have a candy-like. That was way faster than I ever expected. Wow. Guys, look at that. That is so neat. Okay, I'm having too much fun. This is awesome. I've never made anything like this before. This is incredible. That's just sugar and water and lemon and a little starch. That's quite the treat. Anyway, there you go. And we will move on to our next step of the process. All right, so as it were, I got ahead of myself. Apparently you're supposed to leave this, it's okay, we can still fix it. Or not even fix it, we can just leave it on. But apparently you're supposed to leave your gelatin, even though it's quite thick and clumpy, over the low heat until it caramelizes a little on the bottom, but turn it down to a low heat instead of having it on medium. And it may reduce a little bit or get even more clear than it already is. And to determine the final texture of your mixture, you will want to dip a spoonful into an iced glass of water. So when that time comes, I will do that and I will let you know how things go. Right, so I'm going to do my first test where I just take a little bit on a spoon, it seems. Ever a little bit there. Dip it into ice water. You can see it's very, very clear. Take it out and taste it. It is so sticky. That is so good. Guys, I'm just going to take you up here. Wow. Honestly, I don't think you could get better than just plain this. But I'm going to try. So as you can see, I am still heating it a little bit. The longer you heat it, the less sticky it gets, the more solid. And then, of course, the more solid it will be when it cools. I am now switching it to 3 different pans so I can do my 3 different flavorings and see which one is the best. So back here I'm going to have my cherry, then I will have my lemon and my coconut. It is very hard to get off these things. I'm going to need a spoon or something, which is okay because it is perfectly delicious as it is, I think. I cannot believe how good this stuff is already, guys. I don't know how it could get better. I highly, highly recommend. Except that you will get addicted, and it will be quite hard to not eat it, because it's already hard for me. I mean, this is hard. This is difficult enough. Sorry, there's construction going on all over my place, and it's a little loud, a little noisy. So this is getting very thick. Right, guys, so next I'm going to add our flavorings. So back here, I'm going to add a little Just Her Cherry organic juice. So this is going to be a cherry one. I'm just going to add a little bit at first, about a tablespoon. And then I'm going to add the lemon to this one. Again, just about a tablespoon of lemon, maybe a little more. And you can try these and see what you like and what you don't like. And then finally, our coconut we'll add to this one, about a tablespoon. And we'll see how this works. So I'm just going to stir these in together with these things. I think I just need to heat these a little bit, and then maybe we'll get something. That one, so that's this burner. Put that on low. See what happens. All right, y'all. So I decided that putting the mixture into these tiny little molds would be pretty much impossible and an incredible struggle. And since I don't have a wide silicone pan that I can just put the whole thing into, I figured this would do pretty well. So I'm going to see if I can just use these to the best of my ability. I think it'll work reasonably well. Ooh, yeah, so there's our lemon going in this first square here. And since they're completely different colors, I don't think I should have too much trouble figuring them all out. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my gosh, I'm done. Guys, I did it. I did it. It's all in. Woo! Okay. So there are our Turkish delights. Woo! Oh gosh. I feel so good right about now. It's all stuck all over my body. Oh my gosh. But it's okay because it's in the molds. It's in the molds, guys. Guys, I don't know if you want this to be like, oh, guys, I've accomplished victory. I've beaten this Turkish delight into these molds, and it is now there. And we are ready to let it cool and eat it and flour it or butter it or what have you, whatever else you want to do to it. Let it be. But we are done with the main part of this video. And oh, the pan cleaning. I'll let you know how that goes. All right, everyone. So after putting those into the molds, I feel like I can accomplish anything because it feels like I just did. The pans are sitting in hot water in the sink, and I'm going to use a scrub brush and hope I don't ruin. I'm gonna use this tough thing and hope I don't ruin it, but it's not an actual brush, so I think it'll work. All right, guys, so as I said, I have just put the mixture of Turkish Delight into the molds and I'm letting it cool. On the recipes I found, it says let cool for several hours, which is what I will do. I just don't know if I should put it in a freezer or in a refrigerator or just out. So I have put it in the fridge and I will continue searching for what I should actually do. But I feel like just having it out is going to leave it to be too warm. It can't cool, but if you put it in the freezer, it's going to be solid. So, I mean, you want it solid, but you still want it like cool and sticky instead of frozen, I think. So I will get back to you on that. But as of now, it is in the fridge and it is 2:33. So I will let it sit in there probably until I get back tonight at 8:30, and then tomorrow morning I will cut it up and yeah, taste it and all of that fun stuff. All right, everyone, so it is the next day. I have let my Turkish Delight sit out overnight. I did test one just to make sure that the mixture was right last night, and I have the rest of them to do this morning since I thought the lighting would be better for the camera. I did wash up all the pans. They're actually really easy to do if you just let them sit for about 5 to 10 minutes in some soapy water and then wash them with whatever you have, cleaning cloth, brush, whatever you want to wash them with. They're actually really easy to do that way if you just let them sit a little bit in sudsy water. Way easier than I expected them to be. The hardest part of this whole process was getting the Turkish Delight out of the pan and into the molds for me. And still that only took about 15 minutes. So depending on how much time you have, it was a struggle. It was a little irritating and frustrating at times, but overall I think they turned out really well and I would be willing to do it again. It was a little difficult. So this morning I'm going to be cutting them and putting them in a powdered sugar and tapioca starch mix. And I will just be laying that on the knife so I can cut them easily and also battering them in it so that they are ready. And I did try a coconut one last night and it was really good. My family all liked it. The only thing I would do is I would add more sweetness if you want a little more of a candy flavor. Right now it's good, but it doesn't have a lot of sugary taste, which I like more. And I would also add nuts. If you like walnuts or pecans, I think that would be really good in this. So I just didn't want to do it the first time because I was trying out, but I think those would be some changes I would make to the next batch. And without further ado, I will show you the battering process of the Turkish Delight. All right, so here I have a monk fruit powdered sugar and tapioca starch mix, And I just did it about half and half, maybe a little more powdered sugar than tapioca starch. And then I will get out perhaps a lemon. So you can see they've set out overnight. I did discover that they have to set out in a dry room temperature, or a little cooler than room temperature area. So it's dry and cool. Don't put them in the fridge or the freezer. That was my mistake, because they will get like soggy a little bit, and they won't set properly. So just leave them in a cool, dry place of the house, and they'll turn out like this. I did catch them in time, so mine seemed to be perfectly fine, but I did learn that after researching a bit more. So here's our lemon. Just try a cherry. Here's our cherry. I might dip this one first, so you can see you can just dip it. Also coats the outside nicely. Tap it. And then, shh, guys, no barking, please. Just cut it. This one, I think these turned out the best because I had the most. So they're the coconut ones, which is good because I really like the coconut flavor. Alright guys, so I have all three flavors of Turkish Delight. So we have our tart cherry, our lemon, and our coconut. And I'm going to be trying each of those flavors now. So to start off, I'll have a piece of the lemon. It's very chewy. That is so good, guys. I am really impressed with that. I'm really happy with how that one turned out. Next, I'll try our coconut. The texture on the coconut is so much better. I think the only change is the oil. So maybe add a little more oil. Finally, for our tart cherry. That's good too. All three of those turned out really well. I'm really pleased with how all of those turned out. They have a very nice texture. They have good flavor. They taste like kind of like applets and cutlets, which I assume are kind of like Turkish Delight, except they're not nearly as sweet, and they're a little more starchy. So they're not as, like, it's not really a gelatin. I think the other ones are kind of more of a jelly type candy, whereas Turkish Delight is a little more starchy. And I think generally Turkish Delight may not be super, super sweet, but I could be wrong, which may be why they don't use a lot of sugar. But yeah, again, the only changes I would make is maybe add some nuts. Like, I think walnuts would be really good, except I'm allergic to walnuts. Or pecans, I think would be really good. If you aren't allergic to nuts, I would add those in your batch, and just add those with the dye or with the juice, I think, and those would turn out really well. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. First try out of the barrel, and it looks good, it tastes great. I am really happy with how all of these turned out. I'm just blown away with how that worked. I was very concerned coming into this, having no prior knowledge whatsoever, and to have something turn out like that, that's pretty exciting. So I would definitely try these if you can. I will put all my notes in the video. And yeah, Thank you all so much for watching me and joining me in another video, and I will see you all next week. Have a great day. It's been a while since I've done bloopers, but this one might require some bloopers. So this is probably about all you'll see of me filming today. And when I get back, it will be Tuesday, the whatever Tuesday is, 8th, I think. 9th. Tuesday the 9th of October. I'm very tired, guys. Okay, so it looks like it's about 200, so we still have 60 degrees to go. And it is already starting to bubble. We're all making it out of here fine. Maybe a knife. Ooh, a knife. Ooh, I've got it. A knife. Here we go, here we go, here we go. I love how I used a knife finally to end my suffering, and then the next thing I pull out is another spoon. This kind of disgustingly looks like some type of heart or liver or something because of the cherry juice. It's not my favorite thing, but I think it'll taste good with the cherry, and it'll definitely look different, so once it's out, so I think we might be okay. It's just not fun to mix around because it feels like I'm looking at an organ. This is going to be the lengthiest part of this video. And you guys won't even get to see half of it, which is great. But in the meantime, I need a moment to just relax a little bit because that took many different parts of me that I don't think I'd used before, such as my brain. Anyway, okay. There's probably a better way of doing this, and maybe I could look it up, but I want to just struggle through it. There's just something in me that says, hey, don't give up, just continue struggling.